Yes, yes, boys. Ryjack back here. Back from my trip to Orlando from my first ever city game that I was able to attend live and in person. Let me tell you, awesome, awesome experience. I'm here today to discuss the game, my travel experience, everything that went down, as well as City winning the group. We dominated, to be honest, guys. And I'm really excited. I think we could potentially win this Club World Cup. So another thing to discuss on the channel before we do start, we have hit 250 subscribers. So thank you guys, very much appreciated. The vlog obviously has done really well. It's at like 5,000 views. So hitting 250, we just went right past 200 subs. 250 just happened like in less than 24 hours from the video going up. So it's really cool to see, and something I'm pretty proud of, to be honest with you. So if you are new, hit the sub. I guess the next goal is 300, going for 300 subs. So let's get that right away. Comment, let me know what you're thinking of everything with City, and we can move from here. So let's get into it. Now, City obviously dominate Juventus. Absolute domination. It was I will say this, it wasn't quite as hot, I think, for me, particularly where I was seated. I was upper level, upper deck, and there was a nice breeze, so the overall heat was not bad. But walking in the stadium, I mean, it was hot. It was like 90, 95, 97 degrees in that area. So when I got in there, it was chill. It was fine. And then, of course, the rain came. An absolute monsoon rainstorm. It was so much rain, like unbelievable amount of rain, that most people left the stadium before halftime. But that did bring the temperature down. It rained for probably 30 minutes or so. But following that, it dropped. It was in the 80s. It was not bad. Very breezy for me as well. But the rain kind of did stay around for some time. When you talk about the game, I mean, it was action-packed. Action-packed. There was very rarely a dull moment, to be honest. City started out extremely well, as you all know. Bernardo almost scored in the first 5 minutes. It was weird the way the stadium was set up. They didn't really have a clock where I could see the time very easily. So I'm not sure why that is, but that's how it was. You couldn't really see what minute you were in. I'm used to stadiums like NFL stadiums or college football stadiums. They have obviously huge jumbotrons and big signs, NBA arenas where the score and time is. But here at this stadium, they just didn't really have it. It was weird. But 9th minute, Doku makes a nice run in behind off of an Ait Nori ball. First touch is immaculate. He cuts inside and bends it around the keeper. Probably Doku's best moment for City that I can remember, to be honest. And me here, as not a Doku guy, as you guys know on the channel, of course, he would be the first City player I see score. He was shushing me, I'm sure, in his head. But, I mean, it was nice. Doku's been very good this tournament, and I'm not afraid to admit that maybe I'm wrong on Doku. Maybe I need to swap my opinion around. He's obviously come out with these comments talking about how he is playing very freely and he feels good, etc., etc. And maybe if he wasn't feeling that before, that was hindering his performance, and now he's feeling solid, good, and he's rearing up, ready to go for the season. I don't know, but he looked very good yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever the game was, Thursday, and I was happy with what I saw, of course. Then, unfortunately, we get an error from Ederson. I know a lot of people like to call him Errorson. I've seen that in my chat quite a few times, but on the whole, yes, Ederson gave the ball away and Juventus score. But to be honest, how often does Ederson give the ball away? And how often does he create goals? And I think if that's what you weigh on the whole, Ederson certainly, without a doubt, creates way more than he gives away. Maybe it's 3-4 giveaways a season, but he's creating double digits in chances, I think. He's not always an assist from him, but his long balls, the way he plays out the back, surely he is involved directly in 10 or more chances per season where he's only giving away, at most, I want to say 3 or 4. So, on the whole, I say it's worth it, obviously, to have Ederson. And there is news. Ederson is staying. He has basically come out and said he's not leaving. He's not interested in leaving, and he wants to stay, which is nice. Again, leaves a little bit of question on Stefan Ortega. He, in my opinion, will want first-team football and will look to leave the club. I don't see how he cannot, to be honest. I mean, he's got to head out, Ortega, if he wants first-team football. They asked him about it. I'm sure you guys saw those comments. He was not exactly committed to the city. He basically said, it's early, we'll see what happens, etc. So, to me, that makes sense. Ortega is out, and again, could help with the homegrown issue that we are potentially going to have. He's German, non-homegrown. Obviously, if we replace him with an English keeper or a homegrown keeper, probably not going to be James Trafford, as I've seen a lot of City fans hoping it is. Seeing some discussion on Aaron Ramsdale. That would not be the one for me personally. But whoever it is, an English goalie, come in, be the backup, who is well-versed in playing with his feet, because we do know one thing about Ederson. Ederson is a bit injury-prone, gets injured almost every year and misses some time. So this backup keeper position is important, and Ortega has done a good job, but feels like he is wanting some first-team football, and he will be on the move. My personal opinion. Then Kalulu has a really poor own goal. I mean, it was horrendous. He was under no pressure whatsoever. He just left foots it into the bottom corner. It was so strange. The crowd and the people around me were very shocked. Kurt Thompson says the Juventus team is really bad, and I would agree. They basically did not have the ball the entire game. They have a couple of danger men. Vlahovic is all right. I mean, he's not bad. Koopmeiner's another solid player, but really their danger man is Yildiz, and he only played 30 minutes. Cambiasso, I thought when he came on was all right, but I think he was at fault for one of the goals as well. A lot of these players just did not impress whatsoever. Kostic, I didn't even really realize was playing. McKennie, the American, who obviously got a big ovation from the crowd, didn't do much. Locatelli, City link from way back 5 years ago, maybe. Nothing. Costa, again, nothing. Lloyd Kelly, I thought was putrid. I thought he was terrible. Savona, another City link, didn't see much at all. And Kalulu was the worst of them all. 2.8 is fair. Kurt says Trafford won't come back to City for a backup. He already said that. And I agree. I think the only thing City fans were looking for potentially is if he comes back as a backup for one season and then Ederson is leaving on a free next season. Maybe that's a selling point we can have for Trafford, where it's, yes, you can come to City and in 1 year you'll be the starter. I don't think he goes for that. Why would he do that if he can just go to Newcastle now and start, which is where some rumors are for Trafford. But again, I think getting a backup goalie that is English/homegrown will be super beneficial. Ederson needs to fix up. Like I said, the errors happen occasionally, but on the whole, he creates more goals than he allows. So I think with his style of play, you're always going to see some errors, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, you take the 10-plus chances he's involved in per season versus the 3 or 4 errors that lead to goals, I think. And maybe some people are not into that. They just want a keeper that's going to, shot stop. They just want Courtois and he's just Donnarumma, and he's just going to be in the box and save everything and then do nothing else. But for me, I think Ederson is the prototypical Pep keeper, and if we're going to keep him, then that's what we're going to do. He hasn't signed a new contract as well, so maybe City try to sell if they can't agree to a contract. But, I mean, he's been here 8 years. Letting him go on a free is not the worst bit of business. Could see Trafford at Newcastle, but Burnley already rejected $37 million. Yeah, Burnley will, of course, want to keep him as they come up. But I don't know. I think Newcastle have got the big cash. They're going to make it happen. That's my prediction. He goes to Newcastle. Ederson, the best City keeper ever. I know some City fans will still say Joe Hart. Joe Hart was the first City keeper I remember watching. And if you're comparing them as shot stoppers, I mean, I would say it's pretty evident that Joe Hart is the better shot stopper. But again, on the whole, Ederson is the best keeper for me. He's City's best ever keeper. Obviously, I don't know the keepers from pre 2000, those guys. So I don't want to say all time whatever. But for me, Ederson is the keeper I would do if I'm building a Premier League City all time 11. Ederson for sure, no doubt about it. Then, after the Kalulu own goal, the game kind of chilled a bit until halftime. That's when we got the heavy rain. The rain was an absolute madness. I mean, it was thick. It was fat. I could barely open my eyes. I was getting pelted where I was standing. My wife even left. She went into the concourse, as did thousands and thousands of fans. People were gone so quick. It was so heavy rain. But not me. I did not move. I did not miss a second of this match. I was not moving for anything. That was not happening. But then we go to halftime, and very quickly we are running and gunning from the blocks from the second half. Holland almost scores within basically the first minute of coming on, which was great. I loved it when Holland came on. He got a massive ovation from the crowd. They were loving it. Every time Holland got the ball, the crowd was going mental. He nearly scores with his first kick at the match. The ball is just a bit past him from what I can remember. And then a few minutes later, 52nd minute, he scores. It is one of the worst tap-ins I've ever seen. He almost bottles the chance, but hey, he gets the ball over the line, and goals is a goal. So Holland gets the goal, and the crowd goes wild. It was nice. And then at that point, I mean, it was 3-1. Juventus really did not provide much of a threat, in all honesty. I'm curious on possession. Yeah, 76% possession. I mean, it's just Juventus barely tried. It was remarkable how little attack they had going forward. I was very surprised by the way they played. I mean, look at these stats. 24 shots to 5, 11 on target to 2, 5 big chances to 2. I mean, it was mental. Kurt says, I support City because of Robbie Fowler and Anelka. Man, Kurt goes back some time. I wish I had been supporting or watching soccer at all back then, but I was born in the States. It wasn't big at all. So for me, it was the World Cup 2014. That is when I got into it for sure. What happened to the Chelsea game? Last I checked, Chelsea were up 1-0. They were up 1-0. So I can tell you right now, they were up 1-0 in the late second half. I'll be honest, I don't remember. I didn't see what happened. We're on tomorrow. Today, Club World Cup. Chelsea are 1-0 up, and it looks like the game has been suspended, potentially. IR. Interrupted game. Maybe there's some thunder, some lightning. Wonder what time the game was. It was in the 85th minute, so, I mean, game's basically over. 20 minutes until it resumes, potentially. But it looks like Chelsea will go through. Benfica, on the whole, from what I've seen, have not been super impressive this tournament. Well, neither have Chelsea been. I mean, I don't know. Benfica have been a bit undermatched, underwhelming for what I had kind of thought of a big Portuguese team would be, personally, for me. Back to the City match. Of course, we do play Al Hilal on Monday, 9 o'clock. Late one for me. Do I know it's LB? I mean, I know who he is. I've talked to him a couple of times, but we're not bros. We're not bros, if that makes sense. We follow each other on Twitter, and he knows who I am. I know who he is, but we're not. I wouldn't say we're friends. No, unfortunately. Maybe one day he'll have me on his channel, and we can do some talks. I do have some plans to be on Martin's channel on the Mancunian Way. Martin and I talk pretty frequently, so there are plans to get me on that channel at some point in the future. If we look back at after that Haaland goal, that is also when Foden came on. Again, here is the goal that was created by an Ederson long ball. Was remarkable, right on point, pinpoint ball. Haaland makes a great touch. Again, when Haaland got the ball, the crowd went nuts. Plays a nice ball in behind. And on that one, I thought Cambiasso was at fault. I thought for sure Cambiasso should have done better. It looked like he just stopped playing. He stopped participating in the game. It was weird. I don't know. But Haaland plays that through ball in. Savinho really should score, but he gives it to Foden. Foden scores. Haaland probably unhappy to not get an assist there. But, a goal is a goal, irrelevant. And then 75th minute, Savinho has a worldy right-footed outside the box pop off from one of the corners that Haaland almost scored on. Crazy goal. Probably the best goal I've seen in person. Now, I haven't been to a ton of football matches in my life because obviously I live here and this is my first City game. I have been to probably like between 5 and 10 MLS games. Never seen a goal better than that Savinho goal. It was crazy impressive. City could have won this Juventus game 10-2 if we wanted. Facts. I mean, Juventus were in relaxation mode and not participating. City versus Cancelo as well. Yes, Monday we see the return of Pep's nemesis, Pep's arch nemesis, Pep versus João Cancelo. Will he throw a ball at Pep's head? We will see. Probably not, but he is known to do that, allegedly. City's next game is 2 a.m. I think that's UK time, right, Kurt? So that is a tough one, my guy. I feel for you, but occasionally I get nice and early kickoffs. I get 7 a.m. kickoff times here for me, and I'm up watching. So I do hope you're able to make it to 2 a.m. and stay up and watch, even though it is a late one. I am undecided at the moment if I'm going to the game or not. I just obviously went to the last one, and I spent probably $200 in total. Tickets were $85 each. Parking was $40. I had to get some food there. I had to get water. So, I mean, it was probably a little bit past $200. So, do I want to do that again when I could potentially wait until Friday if we win to go to that game, which might be against, like, a bigger team? I don't know. I'm excited either way. I'm going to try to go to one of the next two games. Pat says, big up Ryjack. Thanks for all your support on the Mancunian Way. Looking forward to next match. No reason why we shouldn't bag 4 or 5. Bro, no reason at all. I watched Al Hilal. Yes, they drew Real Madrid, but man, they are not that impressive. They've got a good squad of some names at least, but City should not fear the Al Hilal players in any way, for sure. We should be putting them to the sword rather quickly, I would hope, and getting some subs on, resting some players because that is key. It's going to be, even though it's a night game, it's in Orlando. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. We need, obviously, to get a lot of players rest and rotation because, we do want to win this, of course, but we all know Premier League next season is the most important thing. Kurt says I will be sleeping at 2 because I got kids and they wake up at 5 to 6. Well, Kurt, if you want, I mean, you could just stay up all night and then wake the kids up and then you're just good. You just don't sleep at all. That would be a tough one, but it's possible. No, that makes sense. If I had kids, I don't have kids yet, but soon I will have a child. Not quite here. She's due in November, so I will be feeling that eventually. I know what you mean. But yeah, the game ends. City finish top of the table. Really, really good overall performance in the 3 games. I know a lot of people downplay the Al Ain and Wydad or Wydad games because look who they are. It's against nobody. But, I mean, the Juventus is a real team. I know the team that played against us was utter crap, but Juventus is a real club. If you're going to do a top 20 rankings of clubs in the world, they're probably in that list. So I don't think it should be said lightly that we just absolutely obliterated them, and it was a fantastic performance. Zach, hello, bro. How are you doing? Welcome back, Zach. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you as always. Kurt says, I got 2 and I'm 27. Kurt, you're a busy man. Faster than me. I am 28. Not having 2 kids at 27. I could not have imagined that. No way. But I got married a little bit later, I guess, than normal. I got married at 26. So 1 kid at 28 in like 5 months is not too bad for me. Doku next season is looking dangerous. Zach, that's a great point you bring up, and I actually tweeted about Doku today because if anybody knows me or watches my channel, you guys know I'm not a Doku guy. I just don't see it. I don't think in general he is going to make it at City. I hope I'm wrong. I'll hold my hands up. I hope I am way off on Doku, and I hope he becomes the best winger in the world, and I have egg on my face, and he gets 20 goals and 20 assists next season. I know that's not going to happen, but I have no hate in my heart for Jeremy Doku. I just think he is a bit... it's just unpredictability. I don't get it. He sometimes has games like this Juventus game, and sometimes he has games where he dominates and just doesn't do anything as far as end product, and all his dribbling leads to nothing, and City focused so much energy spamming left wing Doku, just go at somebody and do something, and nothing comes of it. So I think that happens a little bit too often, personally. Zach says, what is my Twitter? My Twitter is, let me pull it up. I think it's just my name, to be honest. It's Ryjack with 2 Ks, 97. It should be linked in my bio there. But back to Doku. If he makes it, great. I think this is a big season. Pat says no excuse for Doku. With Ait-Nouri around him, he now has the resources at his disposal to perform. I think certainly him and Gvardiol created some sort of... It didn't work particularly well. Like, Gvardiol is not a left back. Obviously, we all know he's better at center back. But when he played left back, he didn't really bomb up and down and let Doku cut inside. He was kind of in this same area where Doku liked to operate. I mean, it was similar to the Grealish-Cancelo situation. And I know Josko's not right-footed, but I mean, think about the Real Madrid game where he cuts inside right here and scores that goal. He's operating in this area. He is rarely out here wide, like Ait-Nouri has been. And I can't lie, Ait-Nouri has got to be the most impressive player from the Club World Cup group stage so far for City. I have really enjoyed watching Ait-Nouri, and he has far exceeded my expectations. I mean, maybe this is just what having a left back is, personally, because we haven't had one in like 10 years since Benjamin Mendy, who was here for, a cup of coffee and then was gone forever. But I don't know. I am really a big fan of Ait-Nouri. I want to do a video on my 3 most impressive players from the group stage, and I for sure am putting Ait-Nouri in there. And I'm a little uncertain on the others. Maybe Tijani Reinders, probably him as well. And then a third I'll have to think. Can't believe Echeverri is out for 3 weeks. That's unfortunate, Kurt. Echeverri has his nice little cameo moment where he comes on, he starts a game, actually scores a worldy free kick that maybe the keeper should do a bit better on, but the wall as well. That wall, man. Every time I watch that goal, I see the wall and I kind of laugh. It's funny. But yeah, the Echeverri thing is unfortunate. He's almost certainly out for the rest of the Club World Cup, and I hope not. It's not the case that he gets loaned out, but unfortunately I could see it get to the point where he is loaned out due to these homegrown rules that we might find ourselves caught in. Zach says he's talking about Doku again, if he improves his final box actions, and I agree. With this Ait-Nouri combo, if he can get more of those run-in behinds, cut inside and score like he did against Juventus, that Doku I like. It's the Doku that's just out here operating and he's kind of one-on-one and there's not people crossing into the box. I just don't think that play style works particularly well. But if the Ait-Nori Doku combo works, I'm for it. I'm for it for sure. City must get a right back. I don't rate Akanji, bro. He's always does something dumb. Great point. I feel like we probably have one too many center backs, even though as far as that right back problem, Akanji is versatile enough to play there. He can play a left back. He's kind of a, what's the saying? He's good at a lot of things, but great at nothing. Master of, what's that saying? I can't think of that saying. It's like something, master of none is how it ends, but I don't know the rest. I don't know the saying. But that's Akanji. He's good at center back. He's good at right back. He's good at left back, but he's not great at any one of them, for me, personally. But do you want to keep the versatility? John Stones obviously is potentially out the door, but he's homegrown. And when he's fit, I know it's never that he's fit, but when he's fit, he might be our best center back. The guy's mega when he can play. So I'm not sure. Like it's a tough one. But if you look at our squad, let me pull up the squad here so you guys can see. If you look at just center backs, you have Diaz, Stones, Ake, Peter Hayes, Akanji, Kusanov, Vardiol. Is that right? Is that 8? Did I count that right? You got Simpson Puzzi too, who's got to be out the door, sold. I guess Nori can play center back. I didn't count that right, did I? Yosko, Kusanov, Akanji, Hayes, Ake, Stones, Diaz. 7. All right, 7. 7 center backs. That's too many. We need 5. 6, even 6 might be too much. I'm not sure what we're doing with the center back situation. And I don't know who is out the door. It's just a tough one. Like, Juventus got a player in their team who's got the same name as one of our players. I don't know which one you're talking about, to be honest. Can't think of it off the top of my head. I would be upset if City loan out Echeverri because he can rotate with Cherokee. Again, I would love it if Echeverri stays. I'd be thrilled if Echeverri stays. I think he could be mega. My worry is if he goes on loan, it goes down that kind of route. How many players have City loaned out in the last, let's just say since Pep has been manager, so the last 9-10 seasons? How many have we loaned out that came back and made it? You can't think of any, to be honest with you, unless I'm just forgetting some obvious ones. Like, if you look at the squad now, none of these players were loaned out. We never loaned out Rico. The other ones are all purchases. Esbrand was loaned out, has no chance of making it at City. Jacob Wright was loaned out, not going to make it. Obviously, he's been sold. McAtee has been loaned out. He ain't making it. He's leaving this summer. Oscar Bob, they never let loaned out. They want him to stay. I mean, that's just, like, unless there's some I'm forgetting. If you get loaned out, it's tough. It's a tough one. I don't know. I don't see it happening, personally. Zach says Akanji's sleeping mid-game when we have too much of the ball. It does happen a lot. I think of the final against Inter when he has that back pass that almost creates Inter's goal. I think of the Spurs game where he loses the ball and Ortega has to save us. So I'm on board with this Akanji leaving, because someone has to leave. It does have to happen. Akanji is to be a third or fourth choice center back. Well, I mean, I might have him as 5th choice. I'd be happy with 5th choice Akanji, but again, which 2 do you let go? It's a tough one. Stones, in my opinion, too injury prone, is goodbye. Stones leaves, you need to replace him with an English player, and you ain't buying Jared Braithwaite. I mean, he just got signed to an extension. Pat says when this tournament is over, we can expect 5 or 6 players out. No one is coming in until we have a fire sale. It's a great point, Pat. We will certainly be seeing multiple players leave. We all know the quotes Pep had about having a young squad, having a thinned out squad, 23, 24 players. We brought 27 to the Club World Cup. McAtee was left at home. Kovacic was left at home. Grealish was left at home. That's 30. And I'm not even counting Kyle Walker, who has to leave, 31. Calvin Phillips, 32, technically. So, like, I mean, if you don't count the guys like the guys who we didn't bring, and you just look at this 27-man squad here, I mean, it's tough because all these guys want to play, and they're at City. It's a tough place to leave. Like, you have to be given a clear indication you are not going to make it here. You have to leave. And I don't think, personally, Pep likes those conversations. So maybe Hugo Viana can be that guy who is standing up and saying, I'm sorry, you're just not, it's not going to work for you, man. It's not going to happen. Unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And when you get those difficult discussions, I mean, Doku comes up. He's one that I know City are not going to give up on Doku, but if you have a huge offer, I mean, I would be open to that sale. Grealish should be leaving. Will certainly leave. Savinho's going to stay. McAtee needs to go. That's 2. Echeverri could be loaned, like we said. Bernardo, I had thought potentially he was out, but that's not happening as the club captain. Gundogan, the Turkey links are there. I think that one's probably a yes. He's probably going to go to Turkey, which great for him. I mean, he has talked about in the past, he's got a strong desire to play in Turkey, being part Turkish. So I get that Ilkay needs to leave for the sake of the squad, but seeing him leave twice is kind of tough, man. I was gutted when he left, so happy when he came back. And he's here, and I'm like, he's got to go, and now he's actually playing well. It's a tough one, but he'll probably leave as well. Could Kovacic be one to head out? Maybe, but is he going to be healthy enough to pass a physical? Who knows? And then you got the center backs, like I said earlier. So it's a tough one, but great discussion to have on the channel, and I love these transfer discussions, squad building type things. I love these discussions to have with you guys in the chat. Zach says our lineup should be Ederson, Aït-Nouri at left-sided center back, Gavardiol, Diaz, Nunez, Rodri, Reinders, Foden, Cherki, Marmoush, Holland. That's just a nasty lineup. I like it. I hope we see some of that going forward. It's interesting though. You have it's probably like a box. That's like the 4-2-2-2 formation that we could potentially run. We will see. We will see. The right back market is very dry. It's a good point. Zach, it is a very good point. Right back market has been tough. Livramento seems to be the heavily linked player, but again, you know how I feel. I don't back spending 80 million on a right back, unfortunately, guys. Unfortunately, I'm not that guy that says we should spend 80 million on a right back. I just think the value, if you're spending 80 million, you got to be getting somebody who's a G&A guy. 80 million needs to get you G&A. And Livramento, while he's great and he maybe become England's right back of the future, he had 1 goal and 2 assists in 38 games. That's not exactly G&A producing right back for me. Juventus have a player called Nico Gonzalez. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Good point. Might get away with Nunez at right back in the FA Cup, but not the league or the UCL. It's another good point, Kurt. I don't think Nunez as your right back, you're competing for Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues regularly. He's been good in general. On the whole, he has definitely improved, that's for sure, because I'm not seeing those bozo moments quite as often anymore. But is he the right back of the future? Surely not. Surely not, unfortunately. Be ready. Pat says, be ready for a season with Nunez at right back. He's in Pep's good graces for now. Well, that's debatable, Pat. There was a quote or allegedly an article that Pep was a little suspect on that. I know he had the comments later that said, he was all in on Nunez and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't know on Nunez. I think if you can get a right back in and get money for Nunez, you sell him personally, because I don't think he's good enough as an overall player. I know he's been solid at right back, but for me, if you get good money for players that I don't think are good enough long term, I think you sell. That's just my sort of business strategy. All Things Football has joined the chat, says hello. Thoughts on the Ederson mistake? I actually talked about that a little bit earlier. With the Ederson mistake, I would say on the whole, you're just going to get mistakes from Ederson throughout the year. You may get 3, 4, 5, but compare that to what he creates. I think you're probably going to get double-digit created chances from Ederson, so I'm happy. I'm fine. Just a missed kicked ball, unfortunately, from Ederson, and it happens occasionally. Nothing to be concerned out with, for me, at least. Let's look at this chat here. I don't trust Nunes at right back against top UCL teams. Neither do I personally. Pay the $80 million. I know it's a lot of money, but just pay it, says Kurt. $80 million is criminal for a right back. I kind of agree. City Till I Die says the homegrown thing. Yes, the homegrown thing is an issue, but if you're able to buy a homegrown player at another position, like a midfielder, if Gundogan and Kovacic leave, maybe that solves your issue. Maybe we go back in for Gibbs White. We don't have to buy a right back that is English/homegrown. Livermento, Pat says Livermento is a no-go. No others are linked unless some other players fall into our lap this summer or Viana does the under-the-radar scouting. Then it's Nunes that starts. Kind of agree with that. I don't see City paying $80 million on a right back. I mean, guys, $80 million on a right back is just absurd. Like, it just is. On an objective basis, Hakimi went for $70 million like 3 years ago. So with inflation, we are smashing the right back record there. I cannot get behind it for me. Zach says pay $200 million for Hakimi. I mean, Hakimi is phenomenal. I'd be paying whatever for Hakimi. Hakimi's unreal, but not going to pay $200 obviously. Ahmed says big up. Who do we go for then as a right back? I like Wesley. He's the only other name that I can see that I've seen on Twitter that has been linked. But again, he might be going to Brighton, and we don't have the non-homegrown spaces available for Wesley anyway. So I'm not sure on that one. Let's see here. I'm not going to lie, I don't know what that says, but if you say something in English, I will read it out, of course. I love reading out the chat, but you got me there. Maybe get a homegrown second choice and a midfielder. You can get a non-homegrown right back. Agree, All Things Football, I totally agree. That might be the route we end up taking. Again, I don't know, because it seems like we want Livermento, and there's just not a lot of links going on. I do think it's a little bit quiet right now because of how much, they're focusing on the Club World Cup and they want to win this, and there's not going to be more people linked with exits during the competition. The competition is going to last like 2 more weeks. Once it ends, Pat said it earlier, the links are going to fly. People are going to leave the club. It's going to happen. We're just not quite there yet, so anything I say now is just a guess or projection. Somebody in the chat said Martin Fernandez. I think that's Kurt. But again, Martin Fernandez is he's not a sure thing. He's 19 years old, so doesn't count for the homegrown rule thing. But is he better than Nunes is right now? Maybe. I'm not sure. Uncertain on that one. So for me, the right back market is tough. I think Pat is probably right. It will end up being Nunes, whether we like it or not. And then next season, maybe we go big for a right back. But for not spending $80 million on a right back, for me, and I'll say it again, I'm all in on Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo is the signing we should be making because he improves our attacking options. Even if it's not necessarily a need, Rodrigo improves our attacking options. There's a lot of precedent in the Premier League for maybe not needing a certain position, but they go buy it because he's available and he's one of the best out there. So I think City potentially do that with Rodrigo. Pat says mutant alert. Man City F all club. Appreciate that, Rajat, my guy. Welcome to the chat. Hakimi used to play for Madrid. That is very true. This is City. Welcome to the chat, my guy. Big up all. So happy for you, mate, going to the game and getting all the views. Bro, the views have soared. I'm not going to lie, guys. YouTube has been awesome. It's been really fun. But it is a grind, you know? I get like 50, 30, 100 views here and there. Seeing a video hit like over 5K views in one night is super cool. Like, it doesn't mean anything, of course, but it's just this cool thing for me as a City fan to see like all the comments I got from people. I got comments from people. A guy who was 78 years old said he'd been going for his whole life, and he's 78 years old, and he said like, "Welcome to the family." I was like, that is cool. That is cool. Regardless of if it actually means anything or not, that was cool for me to see. Big up to everyone in the chat. Hope you are all well. Ahmed says, Wesley is a fraud. I watched the Flamengo game. Well, I don't know if he's a fraud. I did also watch some of the game. He was at fault for the Chelsea goal that I can remember personally. But I don't know. I thought he was all right. I thought he was quick, fast, looked athletic, which I liked personally. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Chat's going faster than it is typically goes for me, guys, so bear with me here. I see us waiting till next summer and hoping Newcastle fail to get UCL. That is true. If Newcastle do not get UCL, potentially, maybe, we are able to go back in for Livramento. He will be young, obviously, extremely young still. I think he's only 22, something like that. Name one good thing about it. I love them. I think their logo right there is really cool. Rajat, City have won 6 out of 8 Premier Leagues. That's pretty cool. So appreciate your comment as always. Rodrigo is a player I really want to have competition with Doku. Now, Zach, if Rodrigo comes in, I do believe personally that is the end of Doku. I think that's the only way it happens this summer. I know people probably won't like that. So it is what it is. But for me, it's an upgrade. Like, Rodrigo just is better than Doku, personally, for me. I tweeted about it today, and I got some interesting comments. People weren't happy with me, but it's my opinion, guys. Ahmed says, I'll reach there eventually. Thank you, Ahmed. Appreciate you, my guy. Vlogs always do better than watchalongs, etc. It is true. And it was my first ever game, so, like, the title, my first ever Man City game, I'm sure people are loving that, to see that and just think it's cool. Rajat says, my club doesn't need to spend $1 billion to get one UCL and only bantering. Hey, banter's fine, Rajat. No problem at all. UCLs are tough to win, man. They're tough to win. City have won a UCL, but they have won 6 out of 8 Prems and have spent less money than Manchester United, who've won none since 2012, 13, whatever year that was, 2013. So clearly money doesn't buy trophies. It helps, that's for sure. If City weren't overtaken by the richest owners in the history of the world, we wouldn't be having these trophies because we wouldn't be able to pay for anything. That's just how it works. And I have accepted that, and I don't care. It makes no difference to me who owns the club. Everybody asking Rajat, what team do you support? Your club has 1 billion mutants. Personally, I don't think we buy any more players. Really, City till I die. I think surely we buy some more players. Personally, I think we have to buy some more players. Not a lot. I think, well, I don't know. It's a good point. It's a good point because if we don't get a goalie, if Ederson stays, maybe no more first team full-on players. Maybe we buy some more project players and a backup keeper, like a young right back, a backup keeper, a young winger potentially. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one, but it's a good discussion to have. Jack Grealish, bye-bye. He's got an alcohol problem. Unfortunately, Grealish is out the door. Whether or not the alcohol problem thing is true, I have no idea. Players are allowed to do their drinking if they would like, so it doesn't matter to me. But unfortunate that Grealish didn't quite make it here, even though he was, on his day, so fun to watch. I loved Grealish. I was a big big Grealish guy. I was so happy when he went to the club, for me at least. Let's see, what do we got here? Hamza, how everything going? I'm good. Welcome to the stream, Hamza. Good to see you here. I see Man United win 8 league titles, and that's mad because they haven't won one since 2013. Man City, the excuse for your club's failings. Yes, Pat. People love to say, I couldn't do this because of Man City or cheating, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's been proven, guys. 115. Cry me a river. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. I am not a legal expert. I support Man City, the club, and I watch us win games. I'll say this as well. If any of you guys follow American sports, there's a whole lot of stuff about teams that allegedly broke rules. No one cares. No one gives any craps at all. The Patriots allegedly deflated footballs. Does anyone discount the Patriots Super Bowls? No one. No one at all. Louisville basketball, allegedly they hired prostitutes to entice kids to come play for them, and they won the national championship. Does anyone care? No. No one cares. No one cares at all. I want clarity on Ortega's future. I think we should get a young upcoming keeper. Love to lure Trafford back. We actually talked about Trafford a little while ago. All things football, and unfortunately we don't believe that's going to happen because he said he's not coming back as a backup, and that's why he didn't want to stay. He left. So it is what it is. No big deal for me. There's got to be another English keeper who's good enough to be a backup. So, it has to be. Get your bingo cards out. Mutants brought up the 115. Of course, it is the trump card on everything. I think we're just going to melt when we hear that. Like it's the first time we've heard it ever. The worst center back to ever play for Man City is Richard Dunn. That is before my time, so I will take your word for it. Not much history. That's all right. Recent history says we're the best team in England since 2010 on. I take that. Grealish being left out of the squad was the right decision, says Huang. I would agree. Unfortunately, as it is, I would agree. Hopefully he can get that move to Napoli and he can link up with KDB again. I saw some report that KDB was like pushing for that to happen, which, talk about pull. You just get to the club and you're like, hey, I know Napoli, you bored, you do things your own way, but Grealish is good. We should buy him. If that happens, big pull from KDB. Impressive stuff from him. Man City fans wanted Madrid last year. Playoff. Enjoy the Mbappe hat trick as well, my dude. No problem. It happens. We were not very good last year. I don't think anyone's sitting here denying that. That's okay. It happens. You can't win every game. If I was a mod, I would have blocked you already. It's all right. It's all right, guys. Rajat can make his jokes. I don't. It doesn't bother me. It is dirt off my shoulders with my 6 Premier League titles. I'm cool. I already got a bingo card. I already got bingo from Twitter today. Richard Dunn, part of the 8-1 loss to Middlesbrough. Jeez. My goodness, boys. My goodness. Wow, we're doing well. 10 people in here. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. 73 views as well. Very, very nice. 12 likes, though. We got to bump that up a bit. Would appreciate it. See here. Channel's doing well, guys. Channel's doing well. I really appreciate all of the support and everything you guys do, and you make it really fun to have these discussions. I saw your Just Banter comment, Raj. Thought I'd keep going a bit. Good luck in the European matches this season. Reinders just fits like a glove in the team. A transformative signing. My guy, Hwang. Bro, I love this Tijani Reinders guy. He and Rodri together. I will say this, actually. It's a little bit unfortunate because Nico G, I kind of was like thinking, Nico G and Rodri together, what a combination that will be. And then Reinders just went right past him on the depth chart. You can just tell he's just better and he's going to play more than Nico G. I do want to see Nico G, and I haven't given up hope on him for anything like that, but man, I kind of feel for the guy. He just got passed right away. Don't mean that then much. It's just funny to make jokes here and there. Seriously, good luck, good work on your channel. Thank you, Rajat. No problem. You can make your jokes. It's no big deal. Is our Arteta hair real? Great question, Kurt. I don't know. Reinders plays like he's been here for 2 seasons already. Pat, you ain't lying, man. Pat, the Reinders instantaneous success, like you can just tell he's a Pep player. It's weird, man. It's weird. He just fits right in. It is something to see. He's also like big and kind of stocky, as is Rodri, obviously. Like that 6'8" or whatever you want to call it, if he's like the Gundo replacement where Reinders can get forward a bit and then occasionally Rodri can get forward, it's going to work wonders for this season. I'm sure of it. It's got to be up there as one of the better midfield pairings in the Premier League this season. Will Nico G ever play at this rate? I think we will see more Nico G once Gundo eventually leaves following the Club World Cup, as well as when potentially Kovacic leaves. If he can pass that physical and City decide we're going to move on from Kovacic, Nico G will get game time. But again, it can be tough. It's a kind of a packed midfield. It is difficult one for sure. You also, All Things Football says Rico Lewis can play in the midfield. Bernardo's going to play in the midfield. Nico O'Reilly is a midfielder. Like, I mean, guys, the midfield is stacked. It is a stacked group. There are many players who can play in the midfield, which I'm sure Pep salivates over. He probably thinks, man, if I could have 11 midfielders start, I would. And we might have 11 at this point. Nico Gonzalez will get his fair share of games this season. And Hwang makes a good point. We have so many games. There's like 60 games, whatever it is, 70 potential games. You know what I mean? Like, there's rotation. He's just unlikely, in my opinion, to be a week in, week out starter. He will play, though. Of course he will play. He's too good to not actually get minutes. Same thing with Kusanov. I think he'll get a lot of minutes, even if like Kanji and Ake stay. I think Kusanov is just too good to not get minutes for City. Nico G will rotate with Reinders. Actually, Reminders. That's a good one. Kurt, Reminders? Nice. Do fans like Matheus Nunes at right back? I think it is mixed. I think people will probably trending upward on the liking him at right back, but I don't think the majority of fans would say that Nunes is the future right back of Man City. I would say probably not. Doku against Juventus was the game that he finally arrived at City. Hwang, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. We've talked about that a bit here in the stream. Doku, and is this the new Doku, or is this just a little purple patch? I hope it's the new Doku, and I'm well wrong, and I'm proven wrong, and Doku becomes the best winger in the world. Not convinced of that yet. I'm more convinced that he will leave after next season, and we will replace him with someone like a Doué. That's just my opinion. Will it happen? Maybe. Who knows? Is the Chelsea-Benfica match still delayed? As far as I know, yes, it is still delayed due to weather. Gundo is leaving. Yes, I think that is probably true. Pep said the team needs trimming. That is true. He said he would resign, even though that was fake. He was faking that about resigning. He would not resign. Hilarious that he said that, but he was like, I will resign if we don't trim the squad. And they're like, Pep, would you really resign? And he said, no, I would never. Whatever. I would like to see Nico Savona signing, to be honest. If we could get him for a decent price. He's young, and I don't like Akanji. Guys, there's a lot of Akanji dislike in the chat. There is a lot of Akanji dislike in the chat. It's rather funny. Man, I would like to know who the center back is, but it is unfortunate. We will not get that information for like 2-3 more weeks, unfortunately. Wasn't comfortable with Akanji and Diaz partnership. Need an aerial dual winner. There's facts. I saw, I think it was on LB's stream the other day, they discussed Ruben Diaz's aerial winning percentage as well as Akanji's, and it is just not not as good as you would have thought it would be, because Diaz is like a commanding figure, but he's just not really that good at winning headers. It's kind of weird. Let me pull that up. Ruben Diaz, FB ref. Let's pull that up and see if that is there. Hamza, my number one hater. All you plastic fans in the chat. No big deal, guys. This is who Hamza is. It is not uncommon for these type of comments. Better get used to these storm delays. Going to make the World Cup matches a nuisance next year. That is very true. Very, very true. Pulling up Ruben Diaz's stats here, guys, and I'm kind of curious. It's actually really funny that Manuel Akanji is his second most similar player. I do find that really funny. Aerials 1. Now, this is per 90. So, sometimes per 90, obviously, is different based on the teams and whatnot. But 1.5 aerial wins per 90 is not good. It's in the bottom 25% of the Big Five leagues. And we have the ball a whole lot of the time. So, in general, our defensive stats are a bit lower than other clubs are. Hence the reason his passes attempted are in the 98th percentile for a center back. But, I mean, still, regardless, we would want this number to be a lot higher. I wonder what Akanji's is. Akanji's aerial wins is even less at 1.19, so not very good. The only aerial duel winners in the squad are Hayes, Kusanov, and Ake. Talk about an aerial just problem. Vitor Hayes, man. The athleticism jumps off the screen for that guy. He is fantastic in the air. I've always backed Ake in the air. Ake has quite a few goals off of corners. From what I can remember, at least. Let me see Victor Hayes, what his stats are looking like. Ruben Diaz, weak to his game, he is too low. Like he's too short, you mean? He's too short? Bottom 2%. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Vitor Hayes, aerials 1, 79th percentile. More than double Ruben Diaz and triple Akanji's. 79th percentile. That is phenomenal. Now, this is different because this is his time at wherever the heck we bought him from. Was he at Palmeiras? Is that where he was? I don't remember. Don't remember where we bought him from. But this is not against the Big Five over in Europe. This is against the next 14 best. But again, the numbers are still there. Aerials 1, 3.19. Let's see Kusanov's aerials 1. Not as good as Hayes, but better than Diaz and Ake, or Akanji, 44th percentile, 1.89. Our revenge tour has started. Let's go. Barnabas, how are you? Welcome to the stream, my guy. Yes, we are checking basically how good our center backs are at winning aerial duels at the moment. Hayes is the one to monitor for the future. Talkie's Pep would mold him into a 6. That would be something to behold. Pep is obviously no stranger to moving players to not their position. You see Nunez at right back. You think of like Fabian Delph at left back, Zinchenko at left back. We've seen Bernardo play left back. Gabby Jesus was a striker who moved out to the wing for a while. I mean, Pep does a madness with player positions a lot of the time. We saw Fernandinho play center back occasionally. I think Rodri got some minutes at center back at one point. So it's a great point. Hayes at 6 would be something. I would be interested in seeing that. I don't know if he's ready for that at the moment, but would be something to see for sure. I saw a report from Brazil that Hayes is confirmed to be staying. For me, that is great news. Ake, not quite as good in the air as I maybe had thought. 1.59 aerials 1 compared to the other guys that are quite a bit higher. His most similar player is Diaz and Akanji. Again, pretty funny to me. Pretty funny. Anyway. What else is the chat saying? Can Victor Hayes play right back? I don't believe he can, personally. I'm not going to say that I know 100% Victor Hayes' skill set, but I think if he could play right back, we probably would have seen it at some point by now, and we have not whatsoever seen that. So probably not. But maybe it's something that is developed, and he can do that eventually. I've trusted Stones in the air, but he is made of glass. Very true. Stones, not even worth looking up because he just doesn't. He doesn't have it anymore as far as the ability to stay healthy, unfortunately. Kusanov looks Russian. He's from Uzbekistan, a qualifier for the World Cup. Probably all due to Kusanov's ability, I would say. Because I cannot name another Uzbekistani player. Actually, that's not true. There was a guy in FIFA that was really good. Striker in La Liga that was Uzbek. Or maybe it was Syria. I don't remember. Back when I used to play FIFA back in the day. If the chat does not know, I used to be a hardcore FIFA Ultimate Team player. I played it from like 2015 until 2024. I was every day grinding Ultimate Team. I even did Twitch for a while, but I just stopped. I got tired of it. So no more. My Twitch career ended and my YouTube career began. The Uzbekenbauer. Exactly. I love watching Kusanov, guys. I am a massive Abdikadir Kusanov fan. And if that report about us not wanting to pay like the $5 million extra or whatever it was for his 10th match, if it's true, it's a little disappointing because I feel like we could have used him. I thought he was fantastic last season, but I would like to see him more for sure. I was hoping to see him on Thursday. Again, he did not play, unfortunately. I really wanted to see Oscar Bob as well. He was my number one player that I was excited to see was Oscar Bob so I could see him score a goal in person. And he did not get off the bench. I'm very upset with that. To be honest, he made Gvardiol pretty solid left back. There's a good point as well. I think Gvardiol is a bit further along in the development as far as like physical development, which is why he can do left back. And Hayes is a bit lanky. He's like kind of gangly is how I would describe him. I think that's an American term, but that's how I would describe him. I can't lie. The change in coaching staff has done wonders. Lenders, Toure, and French just make Pep jobs very simple. It is interesting because when you see the celebrations, it's weird to not see Juan Malilo and the gang just like stoic next to Pep. The celebrations I'm like, these guys are all new. And it's great. It's good. It happens all the time that when things don't go the right way, you change the coaches around just to get new voices in. I mean, people do it with head coaches here in America all the time. Assistant coaches get fired and hired. It happens all the time. So I think that is a great point, Huang, that Pep realized maybe the assistants weren't doing it for him anymore at this point. There was nothing more they could offer. I don't know the deal. Like, I used to, some of the chat may know, may not know, but I did used to work in college basketball, and I was involved in coaching staffs, and coaching staffs change, and it's needed sometimes. Sometimes the players just don't relate to a certain type of coaching, and they go out, and then they come back. So I am all for that, for sure. Kusanov is so fast, bro. Facts. He is rapid. I love it. I am the Oscar Bob #1 Glazer based on past experience. That is facts. I think I love Oscar Bob more than anyone on City Twitter or City YouTube. No one backs Oscar Bob like I do. That is facts. Kusanov needs to work on his discipline, but there's a hell of a defender there. He's like a bull in the china shop is how I kind of think about him. He is no nonsense, just sturdy, tough. But he's got some silk as well, where he's like calm and composed on the ball, fast. I love Kusanov. I think he's great. Hamza says that I'm better than Holland. I don't know about that. Believe it or not, Gvardiol is only 23 years old. That is nuts, because I'm 28, and he looks like a fully grown adult human next to me like a child. That's how I feel. Kurt says it's 12:36 a.m. here. Well, Kurt, I appreciate you, man. You do have the kids, though. You said you have kids. You have to go to bed early. So, hey, man, make sure you take care of those two kiddos. I know nothing about American football. Guys, I'm your guy for American football. If you like City and you're interested in American football, you can ask me all the questions you want. I'm the guy. I watch every game every Sunday. It's awesome. I love it. The assistance was predictable. It was too predictable, in my opinion. That's probably true. I will say our set pieces for the last, 5 years have been horrendous. And now, for sure, it seems much better, at least. Maybe it's placebo and we're getting a little bit overexcited with all the new stuff, but they seem better, for sure. They are more hands-on in training. The previous coaching staff didn't help Pep at all, didn't bother to learn the language, and the players were so disconnected. It is pretty crazy if not learning the language. Like, I don't know how that would work. I can guarantee you it would not work here in the U.S. Working in college basketball, if we had like a coach who was only Spanish speaking, it would do nothing. The guys would just tune him out. They would be like, this is some BS. I'm not doing this. I can see like in Europe how multiple languages is more like accepted, how they could get behind it, I guess. But over here, bro, I can imagine some of the guys I worked with trying to listen to someone speak Spanish. It would never happen. Where is Ederson going to go? He is actually staying at least for one more season. Who is my NFL team? It is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are also England's team. They go over there every year, and I never complain. So when Man City come over here, you guys are not allowed to complain either. That's how it works. American football just looks like rugby to me. Very, very, very different than rugby. I guess it's not very different, but it is different for sure. Original 21 says, yo, what's up, man? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Marks says, who is my favorite City player currently? It's a tough one. I really like Oscar Bob. I'm not going to lie. I really like Oscar Bob. So I would say either Oscar Bob or like Rodri, if I had to pick like an actual first team player. But if I was to get a jersey with a player's name on it, I think I would get Oscar Bob on the back of my jersey, to be honest, because I'm backing him that heavy to make it. Don't get him talking about NFL once the ball rolling. It doesn't stop. All things football, you need to chill. This is my channel. I know Martin always says, this is your channel. This is my channel, guys. Sorry. Jokes. Bro, I hate that white American hosts the Club World Cup. I think masculine men's, I think they just paid for it. Like, to be honest, I think they just bid and they paid for it. So that's why they get to host the World Cup. Next one in 2029, I think is up to Spain or America. Whoever gives FIFA the most money. I don't know. That's my guess. That's my only rationale is FIFA went to the highest bidder, I'm sure. And the U.S. was like, we'll do it for millions of dollars. As long as you don't get bullied out of the club like Walker, he'll stay. What are your feelings going into the last 16 against Al Hilal, facing familiar foe and Inzaghi? Wow, that's a good point. I forgot about Inzaghi as the new manager. No, it's a good point. We can look at the Al Hilal squad here. That's a good point. So we can take a look. My favorite City player of all time, KDB. Easy, hands down. No debate. Oscar Bob doesn't quite make that list. It is 100% KDB. So being a Portugal fan, I will go with Bernardo then if I had to pick. Okay. All-time KDB. Yeah, for sure, guys. KDB is the one. Football is ruined. There's no fans. I mean, the game I was at, masculine men's, there was 55,000 people, like on a Thursday at 3 o'clock. I mean, there was quite a lot of people there. They're not all going to be heavily attended, but I mean, if you think about the World Cup, the group stage games, a lot of those games are not heavily attended because the two countries are far from where the host country is, and no one says, "Oh, it's ruined. The game's gone." Just how it goes. Australia, New Zealand has put interest into FIFA for hosting the 29. Oh, that's another one. Okay. So Spain, Australia, New Zealand, USA. Maybe there's another one, but I think overall it's been a success, to be honest. If you let's look at their lineup from this game where they won. This Al Hilal team. I am aware of Al Dosari because I remember watching him in the World Cup. He's pretty good. Leonardo, I don't know who you are. Leonardo the Ninja Turtle. Milinkovic-Savic, obviously the guy from Serie A, very good. Malcolm, the Brazilian, I've heard of him. Ruben Neves, Prem, proven, obviously. João Cancelo, we don't need to talk about him. Koulibaly, the once almost City player. And Renan Lodi, another good left back with Bunau. World Cup, Moroccan keeper, was mega for them. So, I mean, it's a good squad. Like, Inzaghi's obviously a really good coach. Any other bench players that I've heard of? No. So, like, when you get to the Saudi nationals, like, Al Dosari is probably the only one I've heard of, this guy. But the others, I mean, they got some good players, at least. So, like, in general, it'll be a tough game. But on the whole, we should be winning, for sure. Glad to see Vinny Jr.'s dad back from the injury. Missed his control. I don't know what that means. But that goal he set up the other day was insane. All time for me, for Kurt, is David Silva. Great call. David Silva was like one of the first ones I can remember being like a huge fan of, but it was always KDB for me personally. English teams have a lot more American connections than others. That is also true, which is why it does work for the Club World Cup to be here. I just think the American market is so big that even if there's not a whole bunch of soccer fans, there's a whole bunch of people that enough people will go to games and be interested. And we already have the infrastructure. Like, we have stadiums upon stadiums upon stadiums all across the world, the country. So that's why it works. De Bruyne is by far the greatest I have ever seen. Put on the blue shirt in my lifetime. The greatest creator in the Premier League for me. Hoang, I back that 100%. I go with KDB, all-time best assister. And I know he's second to Giggs, but Giggs played for like 20 years. So how do you compete with that? I mean, stats are inflated because of games played. If you look at per game or per 90, it's KDB all the way. David Silva is too nice. Al Dosari is out injured or suspended. Can't remember which one. Just know he's out. Oh, because they have two. Well, this one is the better one. I'm pretty sure. This one is the better one. All right. My dog has entered the room. You can't see her. She's under my desk. My 11-year-old black lab has entered the chat. A little. I can pull up a picture of her, I will, for you guys, because I know everybody asks to see my dog occasionally. Charlie, can you move? Can you move for me? I swear, Georgie Kankadze and Alvarez are twins. They do look quite a bit similar, I'm not going to lie. That is a good one. That's not a very good picture. Let me see here. All right, I'll pull up. Here it is for you guys. This is my dog. For those wondering. The black lab, not the little one. That's my dog. At the dog park the other day. I was referring to the Ballon d'Or, how he beat Vinny Jr. and that whole mess. Oh, all things football. Right over my head. My bad, guys. Kurt says, Rodri says, hey, Vinny. Amadou Onana said in a recent interview that De Bruyne created more chances than the entire Aston Villa team combined. I missed that one, Huang, but that is sick. That's a great point. That's a good point. All right, enough of my dog. No one cares. I know no one cares. Maybe Paul Scholes, Giggs, and KDB is top 3, but the order does not mean very much. It's a good point, Rajat. A good point. I did not get to see any, really, of Scholes or Giggs. I really only saw KDB, and I saw the tail end of, like, Cesc Fabregas, who obviously was really good as well. So, for me, it's KDB. I'm sure I have some City bias in there, but what are you going to do? Everybody's got their own biases for their players, I'm sure, you know. But, all right, guys, we are approaching an hour 15. It is approaching 8 o'clock here for me local, so that means it is time for my nightly dog walk. I do appreciate hanging out, discussing things on the channel here with me. So I am going to head out for this one. But I will be back tomorrow for my full-on Al Halal preview, of course. So we can do that one live tomorrow evening, probably around a similar time. I'll make sure that that's okay. But if anything changes, I will let you know. So you guys, appreciate it as always. Hit a like on the way out and leave a comment if